Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So, Yujin is a literal mobbing god. So let's get right on into it. So let's start off with his build. So with the build, we begin with mid-air maneuvering. Now for his red module, we're going to be going with combat protocol. This is a combat protocol specific build. I am going to be releasing a battlefield medic one, so stay tuned for that one too. But this is the main build I think a lot of people will be using because it's insanely fun. It does insane levels of damage, and like I said, mobbing god. So let's have a look at this. Starting off with cooldown. Now we are going to be going with 2 cooldown modules on Yujin, and only 2. The main reason for this is the following. This red module makes it so that proportionate to the caster's max HP, you get a 10% reduction and a maximum of 50%. So 25,000 HP can give you 50% cooldown for your skills. This is pretty nice and something we will be taking advantage of, so we'll leave that until the end. Next up, we're going to focus on damage. Now with damage, Yujin has quite a few options, but we want to go with what will be providing max damage. In this instance, it will be power increase along with skill simplification. Max MP on Yujin doesn't make too much of a difference, but if you do find it a bit back and forth, you can just use Fusion Specialist. Next up, let's focus on a little bit of range. So range with Yujin, skill expansion and amplification control is more than enough. And then we're just gonna make this build a non-crit build. So amplification mods it is. We'll be going with the non-attribute amplification along with the fusion amplification. There you go. Now, I did say that we will be taking advantage of this cooldown based on the caster's HP, so we are going to be going with HP modules next. We're going to be going with increased HP along with stim accelerant. You can also use HP amplification, and this is the one I prefer. Negative shield doesn't really make that much of a difference on Yujin, so this is what I would suggest going with. Now, trigger mod. For the trigger mod, I would just go with Power Beyond. It's the safest bet. You get a little bit of range and you also get some damage, so you want to be going with Power Beyond. Now, I know some of you might be looking at it like, wait, why does Power Beyond not show up on here? We're not taking advantage of the spin thing. As you can see in this basic information here, it just says straight 15% skill power increase, and this is applied regardless, so this is just free skill power. If you go to the bottom, then this is the amorphous phenomenon, which is the tornado thing that pulls everything in. We don't care about that, we only care about the skill power, so this is what we are going with. Next up for Yujin, let's have a look at the reactor. Before we do that though, real quick, let me slap my weapons in. So for weapon number 1, I'm going to be going with the Peacemaker. For weapon number 2, I'm going to be going with the Last Dagger. And for weapon number 3, I am going to be going with the Restored Relic. So yeah, we'll come back to them shortly. Now for the reactor, non-attribute and fusion is going to be the main thing. For the stats on here, you could go with fusion and non-attribute again. This would be the most damage on your setup. You could also go with skill cost, which isn't too bad as well. This is what I ran in here, and I do like the nice little touch of skill cost, so this is what I went with, and yeah, that's pretty much that. Next up, let's have a look at the external components. Now we are using a non-attribute Descendant, so there's only one option, and that, my friends, is going to be the Mage set. So Mage set is going to be your number 1 pick when it comes to Yujin. For the stats, you want max HP and MP recovery out of combat, max MP recovery in combat, MP recovery modifier in defense, and then max shield or toxic resistance or shield recovery modifier. And then for your cores, you just want max HP and defense across all of them anyways. So this is going to be what you would want to run on your Yujin. Now, the arcade tuning tree. This is going to be a little bit of an interesting tree, so let's just go with it as it goes. First thing we're going to do is get ourselves the golden skill power buff. Then we're going to go down here and pick this cell over here. This is for fusion damage conversion. The way that this works is you take damage, or you miss 32.5% of your HP, and you just get a big boy 17.1% increase of your fusion skill power, so you just get a ton more damage. The way we are going to be using this is by allowing ourselves to build everything up at the same time, and then use our 4th ability to buff our HP back up to the top and then activate the turret. Now, we're still going to be going up. We don't care about the cooldown. We want to go for non-attribute cohesion, which is just going to be additional damage for Yujin. So fairly easy. Then we've got one more arcade point remaining, so you can just slap a little bit of HP over there, or if you want a little bit of skill power. Either way, it doesn't make too much of a difference, so that's what you're going to want to go with for Yujin. Now for the weapons and the inversions, let's have a quick look at them. Now with this, the Peacemaker is solely a stat stick. These are the cores and substats I've gone for on the weapon. 2 sprints and 1 grapple is going to be the main thing on this, which is nice. For the modules, this is what I've gone with. Again, this is primarily going to be with the Defense Master for defense when you kill a mob, and the tactical change for more defense when you change back to the weapon. Next up, the Last Dagger. This is an important weapon because this is what we are going to be using to gun. In this instance, this is the cause that you are going to want to be going with. So yeah, this is pretty much what you want on your dagger. Next up, for your actual mods, this is what you want to go with. This is going to allow you to just, you know, burst into mobs and you'll just absolutely annihilate everything. So this is what you want to be rocking. Next up, the Restored Relic. Now with the Relic, you still want to be building into Fire. Fire is the most damage, and if you do get the debuff, oh sorry, not debuff, the buff of infinite ammo, you just want to be using the Relic to take advantage and just kill mobs faster. So that's why the Relic is here. And then for the modules on the Relic, this is what you are going to want to go with. It's literally the Glare Relic, so nothing has really changed on this front very much. Now for the inversions. For the inversions with Yujin, we do want skill cost on here, because this is going to help us out. Then I would recommend going with pain suppression for a little bit of additional HP, and then selective neurostim is nice for your MP. So that's fairly simple. Now this is the Yujin build, so let's get on into some Yujin gameplay. In terms of the gameplay, I'll show you this quick run that I did inside of the Forbidden Sanctuary, because if it can mob in Sanctuary, it can definitely mob everywhere else. Now in this gameplay, I was not using non-attribute cohesion, so yes, I'll admit it, I was throwing, but this was still a fairly good run. You can see me over here using my second ability to build up my non-attribute buff with the mage set. Then I'm also keeping an eye because my Peacemaker is in my hand, and I want to be using this way just so I can get all of the damage out of here. And the 5th cast, you can see here, my turret is doing over 500,000 damage to like mobs, and then I'm just running around and spamming my 3 basically, which is the main way you do it. Now a little bit later in the run, ideally what you would want to be doing is you'd want to let your HP drop to about half, and then heal yourself with the 4th ability and then cast the turret. This is what would give you maximum damage output on the turret from what I understand, and will also allow you to kick in with the fusion conversion. You can see here, just in general, there's so much more optimization that could be done, but you just annihilate him with the you truly just annihilate him with the turret. Again, over here I just deployed the turret, and as you can see here, the turret is doing a little bit less damage on these mobs. That just goes to show that, you know, you want to be setting up, you want the Peacemaker in hand, and you also want to just, you know, rock it with the setup when you buff it with your mage abilities, and take advantage of them 3 or non-attribute stacks, and just in general you'll be doing plenty of damage. There you go, I've just taken care of it there. We're doing a little bit more damage, and ideally you just want to keep spamming your 3. Pretty much simple as that. And you can see Yujin is an incredibly easy pick. He's very comfy, and because he is based on HP, all you basically need to do if you're struggling is just cast his 4th ability and you're good to go. So it is a very easy character, and even in this gameplay you'll see I'm not even really using the bike and stuff. Oops, my capture card's tweaking. Alright, we're back. Yeah, it's a fairly simple character, and if it works in mobbing in Forbidden Sanctuary, it's sure as hell gonna work everywhere else. But you can just see in general, he's a very capable character. I honestly didn't expect to like this build as much as I did, and I kind of still hold the opinion that this is what Enzo's turret should have been, not Yujin's, but nonetheless, I still think this is good. And just in general, in this gameplay as well, I didn't realize that I was also throwing. So I forgot to do the segment where I, you know, tell you what I changed with the ancestor module. So I'll just do that after the gameplay is over. Sorry about that, guys. I'm bad streamer. But yeah, with this, the ancestor module I was using was also nerfing my range. So I was doing this gameplay with not the correct amount of range. Over here, you can see myself pick the buff up. So with the buff here, I just switch over to the restored relic after I pop my 3, and then I pop my 4 just so that I have a little bit more HP to run around with, especially with here. I'm just using the fire relic. It's nice and easy. The relic's a nice lazy weapon, and you know, you can just take care of mobs with it very easily. Fire is the best element because it's the element that's built onto the weapon, and pretty much that's just what you'd want to do. The turret basically works from line of sight, so as long as you can see the mobs nice and clearly with nothing in the way, the turret will lock onto it and then just do a decent amount of damage. But you can just see here, taking advantage of the relic is nice. It's such a good simple weapon, and all my homies love the restored relic. And you can see over here as well, I wasn't even bothering with the relic in this second phase, which is insanely cooked because, well, the relic would have made my mobbing here literally faster as well, because, you know, relic. But yeah, just in general, nice and easy, nice and chill gameplay. It's just running around and jumping with Yujin. And this is solo, and I think solo and squad or pubs is slightly different. The scaling of the mobs would obviously be higher in a 4-man squad, but the point still stands. If you run in with 3 Yujins running this setup, you will be very, very likely to just annihilate everything. The biggest time keep or closest thing to a time keep, honestly, would be the boss. But you can just see Yujin annihilating everything here. I didn't even realize I hadn't got my turret on, and just did that. Again, stop by the wall, come slightly close to the edge, and there you go. Turret annihilates again. Now, it's simple because, you know, it works so well. And honestly, I just think that Yujin has become such a nice and easy option for a lot of people, and I still think he's going to become an underappreciated Descendant, but for sure, he's absolutely crazy. And you can see here, over 1 million damage a second on the boss with the non-attribute ticks. Crazy good damage. And then this would be where you'd use the dagger to start shooting at the boss and doing extra damage to him that way. Is the dagger going to be as good as the turrets? Of course it's not. And whenever you do struggle or do get hit in the boss fight, all you do is pop your 4th ability. Good to go. Right back to where it was. And you know, it's just about maintaining the loop. Using your 3rd ability as well will give plenty of damage. So this is the main gameplay loop with Yujin, and honestly, I'm a fan. Would I use him over Bunny in here? Realistically, no, but he's a genuine solid option. And if someone was to ask me for a nice easy Descendant to run this, the first Descendant I would say is not Yujin, it's Valby, but Yujin's definitely within the top 3. He's a nice lazy Descendant, and because he's non-attribute, he gets a nice and easy damage everywhere he goes. In this run, I did do a lot of throwing, and I still hit a 541. Honestly, could very easily get this into sub 5-minute territory with Yujin for sure. Like I said, my range was throwing. I wasn't even using non-attribute cohesion, so there's a lot that could be had in terms of that. Now, in terms of ancestor mods, because I threw, let's talk about them. Ancestor mods for Yujin, ideally you are going to want to have HP fusion for this build, and that's pretty much it. HP and fusion would be the most, and even in here, even with 15k HP, I'm still at the cooldown cap, which is the important thing, and the damage off the fusion buff is absolutely ridiculous. HP, you want to ideally be at least 15k for a 30% buff on here, so I kind of did just get away with it very marginally on here, so it's not too bad. So that's pretty much everything that you'd want to do. In terms of changing the rest of the build, you wouldn't even change it. The DPS and the rest of the build stays literally the same, even with an ancestor mod. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please just smash that like button, and if you're new here, please do consider subscribing. I make plenty of videos on the first Descendant, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!